Hello guys, this video will show you 6 subdivision methods that I use. Alright, first we have support loops manual. So here I just use turbo smooth and I go ahead and apply, let's say, 2 levels, ice line display. And what I do is I just kind of quickly go in here and I loop this around here. And I just get this kind of result right here. And I can quickly modulate if I want it to be smooth or not. For example, if I want this to be smooth, I'll keep it like that. More sharp, insert loop through there. But notice what that does, it kind of sharpens this up as well. So I can go ahead and kind of just move this down. Alright, but this is not the most professional way of doing it. The most professional way is you gotta essentially do this. Like for this, for example, if I'm quickly working, guys, sometimes I may just do this right here. And I may say, okay, that's good enough. But if you want to do it more professionally, here's what you do. You insert loop through there, or you connect there, then you kind of cut right through here. Alright, and then you go ahead and continue working with that. You remove this. And then you go ahead and kind of work like this. So this takes more time, but this gives you the kind of the best topological flow. Alright, so this is manual support loops. And of course with this, for example, you would also do something more like this. You would go ahead and do that and then cut through here, and then you can go ahead and do that. And so there you go, and then you remove this. And so this is how you kind of balance things out for the best kind of result. And you would just kind of very carefully work through here and, you know, reroute topology as needed. And this creates a lot of control. You get a lot of control over your mesh right here, but it does take more time. All right, so that is support loops manual. Next we have support loops automatic. With this method, we go ahead and we apply chamfer modifier. Right, and we go ahead and we have some options here. Make this patch. We'll have this like this size, this amount. We'll go ahead and change the depth to be 1. Alright, and we go ahead and turn off increase minimum angle, because you notice right now it's adding support loops to places where I don't want these support loops, because I want this to be sharp or smooth here. Unless of course I do want this to be sharp, in which case it's okay. But if I don't want it to be sharp here, I would need to go ahead and decrease that, or increase that actually. So it's only going to kick in for slightly higher values. Now this is a pretty good method, but sometimes you have to kind of fiddle with this minimum value. And sometimes when you get rid of this here, you also get rid of it in other places where you do want it. So another way to control this, guys, is actually using smoothing groups.
And real quick, guys, if you want to learn this awesome new program called Plasticity, I've got a course for you in the description. This is the first link there. And it's got a lot of awesome content, guys. It's got over 42 hours of educational content. It's got a tree cutting mechs. It's got police robots, Omega, cyborg ninjas, and much more. So be sure to check that out.
So for example, another way to control this is I would beforehand, underneath of here, apply smooth. And I would make sure that every single place where I want there to be supposed to between would have a different smoothing group. And sometimes I would need to, guys, go here and manually set up some custom smoothing groups using Edit Poly. So it can require a little bit of work to get some custom smoothing groups here after you apply the automatic smooth modifier, which is a good first step. And then what you would do, guys, is you would go down here and you would turn off the minimum angle and just use from smoothing on smooth edges. And there you go, guys. And this is a very effective workflow here. Only downside here is that you do get a little bit of this, but I do have one method to kind of fix that. Kind of works sometimes doesn't work. You go into here and you do non-quads. You hold control, you convert to vertex, you connect. Next you go into geometry. For modeling, geometry, quadrify all. And a lot of times, sometimes it can give you good results, other times not. So if that doesn't work, you would just go in here and select vertices and connect them right here. or cut with vertex snapping on, make it faster. All right. But as you guys can see, this is a very nice, clean method here. And if your client expects you to have support loops and not creases or open subdivision, then this would really be the method to go right here. Very nice results here. Next, we have crease set. In this method, we go ahead and apply the crease set modifier. We set this to something like 45. We select it. We double check to make sure we got the right ones, not the wrong ones. Maybe we want to add this. You create a set, you enter in the value, and then you use open subdiv instead of turbo smooth. Downside this method is that you will have to increase more iterations. With turbo smooth, with support loops, guys, pretty much 2 iterations will be good for most situations. With open subdiv, you will have to go to at least 3 or 4 to get good results. But of course, the upside is you have a lot of control over this. You can quickly just kind of make it smoother or sharper as necessary. You can have multiple smoothing groups here. So for example, let me see what we got here. All right, actually, I don't want this. So I'm going to deselect this. I can do 2 things, guys. I can select this, and I can right click and subtract that. Or I can deselect them like I did right here, and then right click and then update. But let's say I want this to have a different crease. I'll just go ahead and create a new set for this. I can make this 0, for example, or 0.1, or even sharper, 0.3. So I do have that nice control over this, guys. Preset is a very good, also professional workflow. It's good for keeping things very simple here. Now, if you want to have things creased and subdividing with open subdiv on the go, problem with this, guys, is that you pretty much just have your mesh finished. It's not good for on-the-fly designing, because if I have crease set now and I go and I say here, okay, I actually want there to be a extrusion here, that will more likely break crease set. A lot of times it will break it, guys, if you do too much craziness here. Alright, so here, because doing something very simple, it didn't break. But definitely, guys, if we're doing some major extrusions and things like that, the crease set method will break and we'll have to go ahead and recreate. As you can see, it's broken, which means you have to go back in here and if I see what's selected here, it's been corrupted here, so to go in here and reselect that. So this is only good if your mesh is finished, it's all clean, ready to be presented and shipped off. If you want to have something going while you're still working, you want to go ahead and use the auto crease workflow. So you use data channel, you simply use the preset that comes with it right here, turn off the display. For edge output, you can use, for example, instead of replace, you can use add, which means you can go under edit poly, maybe do something here, whatever you want, 0.2, 0.1, anything else, and then the data channel will not replace it, it'll just add to it. Right? For scale, this is how sharp you want it to be. Then you go ahead and apply open subdiv, once again, at least 3 or 4. And now, this is what it does, guys. It automatically creases it. The downside is that sometimes it makes some parts too sharp, like right here. But it's a very good preview before you are ready to finalize it. What I would do, guys, in working with this workflow is once I'm done designing things and the mesh is set, I'll turn off or delete data channel and replace it with crease set, at which case it becomes just like the crease set workflow. All right, but before I do that, the data channel is very good. Smoothing groups. We go ahead and we apply smoothing groups just like we did previously with the chamfer. We use auto smooth. We modify this, and we go ahead and we apply turbo smooth, and we scroll down here and we use the smoothing groups option here. Then, as you notice, sometimes we need to go and make some corrections. Then we can apply turbo smooth on top for a little bit of a nice edge capturing of highlights. Notice like here, there are no highlights being captured on the edges, which makes the model look kind of dull. Once you do that, smooth it out, you get this. If you want to be a little bit smoother, you can control it by just changing the number of iterations for 1 to 2 to 3 There you go. All right, and then last but not least, this workflow does not work so well on objects to be smoothed out. It does work on objects like this, for example. But here you will apply a tessellate modifier. And you change it to this option. You would turn off the tension. And then depending on how much density you have here, then you apply turbo smooth on top. And so it really works good for certain types of designs here, more angular designs. But if you want it to be smoother, you can have, for example, 1 level, sharper, 2 levels, or 3 levels. But it does not work so well on objects that need to be smoothed out. But who knows, maybe it could give you some ideas. Alright guys, these are 6 methods I use for creasing support subdivision. Thank you for watching and take care.